Ignore my
Thanks for
clovers
stretching.
brushing your face. Tickle you like clovers. All right, so you are a peregrine falcon,
That
which I
I
would
am.
have loved to do, but unfortunately, I've already done the peregrine falcon. We ain't gonna redo that bird. Although maybe we should someday, just because it was so long ago, and I could probably do a lot better. But this bird, well, its name is one that might make you think of the United Kingdom, and it is a falcon. The bird of the day
Which
that
one
we're
you going
going
for,
with
then?
today is known as the Merlin.
Merlins are lovely.
Today we are gonna talk about Merlin. Huzzah! Exactly, Bandai. Huzzah! We're talking about the Merlin. So as you can see, they are a type of falcon, and wow, what a pretty little falcon they are. Such beautiful feather patterns, and got that tiny little falcon head.
With the big old eyes.
Big ol' eyes. Oh, yes. Amazing eyes on these guys. So they're actually not very big, 9.5 to 13 inches, or about 24 to 33 centimeters long. So that's about crow-sized. They're about as big as a crow. 21 to 23 inch wingspan, or 50 to 73 centimeters. And weighing about 5.5 to 8.5 ounces. Now, the females are going to be about 30% bigger than the males, which is pretty typical of a lot of birds of prey. Birds of prey, the
I think
ladies
there's
are bigger.
very few that don't.
There are a few that aren't like that, but these are
Yeah, 'cause
like that.
I know there are, but I wouldn't be able to name any off the top of my head.
I think kites are usually about the same size,
Harriers about the same?
and some species of owl. Like the big owls, like your typical owls, like your Asian eagle owls, they're like that. But I think there were some species of owl. But yeah, I can't remember at the top of my head. I know I covered one not that long ago where they're about the same size. But yeah, they have about a 6 to 8 year lifespan. The oldest banded one ever was about 16 years old. But 6 to 8
That's
years.
going some if your average is 8.
Yeah, no, it's a real good lifespan. And as you can see by the map there, they are pretty widely distributed. You're going to see them in North America, Europe, and Asia. And even certain times of the year, they're going to dip down into Africa and South America. So the blue area is where they live in the wintertime, and the yellow area is where they live in the summertime. And there's a couple little green splotches. They're harder to tell. There's actually a lot of green splotches there on the British Isles, where they'll just be there year-round.
Yeah, the good old jet stream does keep us surprisingly warm.
Mm-hmm.
For being
Yes,
on the
as-
same latitude as Moscow.
Yeah. Ugh. It is kind of funny, though, how there are certain areas where it's just like, they'll go south of here, they'll go north of here, but they won't go here. It's like, it's kind of weird like that, but...
Even birds have flyover states.
Yep. Which, I do think it is funny that you've kind of got that area of the Rocky Mountains where they're going to spend the summers, but not to the east or west of the Rockies. It's weird. Yeah. See, so these guys are monogamous for a season, so they're not going to mate for life, but they'll pick a mate and stick with that mate for the year. And they're not really much nest builders. They like to...
No, most falcons aren't.
Yeah, they like to find places that somebody else has built, or they might find like a nice little nook or cavern or something that's big enough for it. Sometimes up on rooftops, sometimes on cliff sides. But their favorite place to nest is an abandoned corvid nest. They like crow nests and magpie nests. I think that's kind of funny.
Well, if they're about the same size, it's pretty much suited for them.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I think that's exactly their thoughts to it. They're going to have 3 to 6 eggs per clutch, and usually only once a year. They may do a second clutch if the first one completely fails. But yeah, typically just once a year. And look at those little baby falcons there. So cute. So cute little fluff balls.
They're always so incredibly fluffy.
They are. Yeah. Not all baby birds are fluffy. You got some real ugly little baby birds out
yeah.
there, but not these guys. They're nice and cute. The incubation is done about 90% by the female. She just likes to sit in the nest, but while she's doing that, the male is going to go hunting, and she's going to get basically a DoorDash from her husband. You know, he's going to bring her food, and then once the babies are born, both parents are going to feed the babies. And occasionally, a older sibling, one from a previous clutch in the previous year, might still stick around and might help feed his siblings, which is kind of cute. I always love to see stuff like that.
It's nice, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
inverse freeloading.
Yeah, and that's usually going to happen. So, like, 1 year old is usually when they find their mate for the first time. But if it's usually that'll start happening if, you know, they're unable to find a mate. It's like, well, I don't have a mate. So I guess maybe I'll help out mom and dad with the little ones. Mom and dad are out. Have some mac and cheese. I don't think they like mac and cheese. It turns out that's not exactly their favorite thing to eat.
Yeah, it's not raw meat.
Yeah. Now, one thing that you must know about these guys is they are not named after Merlin the Wizard. And Merlin the Wizard was not named after them. It's a complete coincidence. They have nothing to do with each other. That was kind of disappointing. Yeah, the taxonomy and the way that they, or the, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not taxonomy, but the etymology.
Morphology? Yeah. Oh, etymology.
Yeah. Happened to just end up with the same sounding name. I know, my world shattered too, Bentai. But they don't need magic. These guys are like, you know, your perfect rogues. Super fast, super powerful. They are some of the most amazing hunters out there. They are not as fast as their cousins, the peregrine falcon, which are the fastest animal on the planet. But Merlins are one of the fastest animals on the planet. They can't quite do the 220-mile-per-hour dive. But boy, they can break 150, 170, no sweat. They are fast.
They'll have the same facial baffles to actually still allow them to breathe in stoops.
Yep.
But the SR-70 was modelled on, or SR-71 even.
I don't know what that is, but I believe it.
It's the Blackbird. The you probably know it. It's the very famous military jet, the long black one with the twin engines.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that one.
SR-71 Blackbird. It has cones on its engine intakes to change the speed of the air so that the engine can still essentially breathe. In the same way the Falcon face baffles work. You can kind of see them on that picture there, just the little dots.
Yeah, little dots.
They also have conic structures to change the airspeed so they don't take in too much air when diving.
Very cool. Now, interestingly, these guys, their preferred prey is smaller birds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they will eat rodents and lizards and stuff like that, but their favorite food is the starling. They love a starling, a tasty, delicious starling. And when they see one of those giant starling swarms, they're like, oh, buffet, baby. And they will just fly into that, and they'll get one.
A lunch-rich environment.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that starlings have remained popular food for them even in North America, where starlings are invasive. So, hey, these guys are helping keep down the invasive populations of starlings, although not that well, because, God, there's still so goddamn many of them.
There's just so many of them.
So many starlings. But they're pretty
you
territorial.
Eat so many, it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. These guys are pretty territorial, and they are fearless. They will attack things much, much larger than they are. Whether it be humans, bigger birds of prey. If they view something as a threat, they will attack it. Which is funny, because there's been a few instances where they've seen Merlins attacking a large predator that was in their area, known as a train. They have seen Merlins attacking trains.
Fearless little things. Gotta love them.
Yeah, they're just like, they may not be the biggest bird of prey, but boy, they've got the fight in them. They got the spirit. And we'll love that.
And did the train stay in its area? No, it left.
Yeah,
They clearly won.
Train left. Yeah, clearly it worked. It worked. So obviously, as a falcon, it has been popularly used in the activity of falconry. And this was the most popular bird in falconry for women, and in fact was called a falcon for a lady. Which, I mean, maybe it's a little bit sexist, but, you know, can't have a proper peregrine. No, ladies, you gotta have this Merlin thing. But I think that's kind of gone by the wayside these days, and Merlins have become popular birds for falconry, no matter who the falconer is. And, yeah, they can form a very close bond to a human if properly trained, and, yeah, quite a sporting little bird. I mean, I don't know as much about falconry as I probably should, but usually I do believe that the birds are well taken care of, and you know.
Absolutely, it was often an activity to show status. So
Yeah, I mean, it still very much is. Falconry is,
if
I
you're
know,
going to be
very
looked down
popular in the
upon.
Middle East, especially Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, it is still now. I was talking more.
Yeah.
I was talking more of the British history of
Yeah.
that's kind of where my expertise extends to. But often people would actually have a specific falconer whose job was to take care of the Lord's falcons, make sure that they were in good condition, well fed, for then and help with the training. So then the Lord of the house would go out and hunt with them.
Which would be pretty cool to do. Pretty
Yeah,
cool
it was
to go
one
hunt
of the better
alongside.
jobs, I gotta say.
Yeah, just don't bring a good proper falcon along on a hunt where you're also bringing along a dachshund for hunting rodents. That might end bad.
No, yeah,
Nah.
probably don't want to mix those. I mean, those are two different types of hunts.
Very different.
If you're bringing falcons to hunt, you're probably not hunting with dogs.
No, probably
Because the
not.
dogs are more for retrieving and or especially if you're hunting with something like pheasant. The dog's there to go fetch it back, which if you're hunting with in falconry, the bird's just going to bring it back for you.
Yep. But luckily, their population actually over the last decade has risen. There are more Merlins now than there were 10 years ago, and their populations are doing very well, so they are a species of least concern. So we love that.
We love to do that. I know a lot of the falcons have had very good breed and release programs over the past couple decades.
Well, falcons are very adaptable. They do very well in urban and suburban environments as well as their more natural environments. They're good adaptable birds. I mean, falcons are well known for nesting up on top of rooftops and.
Yep, my university building, the tallest one of it, had a peregrine scrape on the top of it. They even had a camera for it.
So my final thoughts. Well, I mean, I love these little guys. Now you may notice that the pictures they all look a little different. That's because with Merlins being as widespread as they are, there are actually like 6 different subspecies that look different. But they are all still Merlins. So, yeah. And my thoughts? Cool bird. Love falcons.
Lovely bird.
Yeah, I really, really like the Merlin. A little disappointed to find out they weren't named after the wizard, but they don't need to be. They're badass enough on their own.
Yeah, they don't need to ride on someone else's reputation. Their own is by far good enough.
Yes. Powerful beaks for how small they are. Good, powerful talons. And just the flight. I love it. An admirable bird that I loved hearing about and reading up on. They're so cool. I like them. a lot. Got nothing bad to say about these guys.
No, absolutely not.
All right, so we're going to call this bird of the day done, and we're going to get ourselves back to the studio.
Aye.